All right.
Hello, my name is Logan and I'm your host, the Mighty Pirate. In today's video, we are talking with George Ledoux. How are you doing, George?
I'm doing great this morning, Logan. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. So,
Excellent.
for those of the audience that don't know, what have you done with the Mech Warrior universe?
Well, probably the thing I'm most known for is playing the character of Duncan Fisher, who originally appeared in the MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries game for the PC. Um, and of course, I've since continued that role in the MechWarrior Online game in the Solaris Arenas, and that's been a great experience, as I've always wanted to bring Duncan back in an official capacity. But actually, before I even did Duncan, I appeared in the Mech Warrior 4 expansion called Black Knight. I
Oh,
was Colonel Lawhorn.
oh, really? I wasn't aware of that expansion. That's excellent to hear.
Yep. It was the first expansion, and then the same company that made that actually created the standalone MechWarrior Mercenaries. So definitely worth going to check that out because a lot of people enjoyed that expansion. Black Knight is what it was called.
Okay. So, how did you first meet up with the Mech Warrior team so you could, you know, become part of this universe?
Well, the I had the very good fortune of being living in the same area as a game developer at the time, and they had been making their own games, small things, and had worked with some of the bigger companies, of course. But then they had gotten involved with Microsoft, who was running the franchise, I guess, at the time. And yeah, basically, it was just I was part of their crew of people that they would always just call in to do voice work, and they brought me in, like I said, for the Black Knight one, and that was actually the very first exposure to uh, BattleTech I had ever had, and I was really confused to start with.
Yeah, it's a quite a lot to jump into. We're at like 5 hours of footage, and still people have more questions than I have answers.
Hmm. Absolutely, it's a really large, complicated franchise, and the lore, as I know you specialize in with your videos, the lore is just so deep, and there's all kinds of areas that haven't even been explored yet. You know, so
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just one of those kind of universes that you can really jump in a lot of different places, but of course, it all comes down to big, giant mechs beating.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the reasons why we all have learned to love it. So, what are some of the projects you're planning on working on in the future? You mentioned you're going to MechCon.
Yes, I'll be at MechCon, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a two-day event this year, so that'll be fun, and there'll be lots of cool guests. Yeah, MechCon's been great for me. It's always been terrific to interact with the fans, but MechCon gave me a chance to actually meet people in person, and honestly, it's been nothing but a super positive experience for me so far. And I hope to continue that. I tend to be a pretty quiet, humble person in real life, and so meeting all these people that come up to me and say, "Oh my God, you're Duncan Fisher," and they basically fanboy out. I get it. I would do the same thing for certain other actors, but it's strange to me because as a voice actor who isn't in the public eye,
Right.
so to speak, it's unusual to be well known, and I don't know anything about the person that's talking to me. But as I said, it's been great, and people have been fantastic to me.
Well, you have to understand that most of us have heard your voice hundreds, if not many hundreds of times. We feel like we
Perhaps.
know your character better than you would obviously know us.
Yeah, probably some people know my character better than I do at times. you know, just like any actor from some old TV series. It's like, oh, remember when you did this? And I'd be like, no, I don't remember because I did play, the game a little bit when it first came out, on the PC, but I haven't played it that much. I think what I've heard mostly has been, people playing the blooper reel that is out there, and that's really, I think, what made the character of Duncan Fisher live this long. It's sort of became a legendary thing because of the blooper reel. People were like, "Oh, this is great," and then they'd look up and see what the hell it was.
Right.
But yeah, there was a lot of people that have they were playing the games when they were younger. Everybody from people who were little kids the first time they played it to people who were in their 40s and 50s that started playing it. And because I still see fans of a huge age range, from people who are much older than me, and I'm 57, so I've met fans who are in their 70s to people who are just coming into their teen years because their parents have the games and have taught them how to play it. So it's a really weird thing. I can't imagine how voice actors deal with people who if they've been doing like cartoons and anime and stuff like that. Oh man, that'd be crazy.
Well, there is a certain amount of joy and can't even say it right now. There's a certain amount of joy in being lesser known, but
Absolutely.
your work has a lot of meaning for Battletech fans, and well, I want to say thanks for doing a great job.
Well, thanks.
There's
Thank you
there's
very much.
there's infinite levels of half-assing it that can be done, and I never felt that Duncan Fisher was too cheesy. I always thought he was the right level of just like stab you in the guts when your mech is down, and he makes me laugh.
Well,
Every
that
time I
was
load up the elevator, he makes me laugh.
that's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, because doing those new lines for the MechWarrior Online game was great, and they also they gave me script, but then they also gave me the freedom to improvise if I wanted to, and I did a little bit, but they did write some great stuff, and all the credit's got to go to them, and I very thankful that they brought the character back because it was great.
So, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this interview.
Yep,
Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate Duncan Fisher, and I appreciate you doing this interview.
you're very welcome, Logan. It was my pleasure.
All right. See you guys next time.